What's up out there, YouTube? It's James coming back at you with another informative video. I hope all is well with you guys out there on this beautiful Tuesday. All is well here. I come across this story right here dealing with Wichita, Kansas. Wichita, Kansas has now invoked a Senate Bill 244 that revokes the driver's license of hundreds of trans people. Okay, and that's just what it is. Why? Because they feel like trans people are identified as something that they're not. And when they come in government buildings, they are required to go into whatever restroom that their gender really is. Meaning, if you are a man, regardless if you identify as a woman, you have to go in the men's restroom. Meaning that if you are a woman that's identifying as a man, you have to go in the women's restroom. This is just what it is. And they are invoking their license, so their driver's license, that is, so they can come down and actually get the license that reflect what your gender is. If you are a man, you're going to get it. If you were born a man, you're going to get a man's license. That what your gender, what you were born. Same thing with the women. Let's check out this video and then we'll get back to the commentary.
Good evening. A law goes into place today in Kansas that impacts every transgender Kansan with no grace period.
It's the so-called bathroom bill. It does two things. It invalidated every trans Kansan's driver's license and now requires all Kansans to use the bathroom of their sex at birth in government buildings. Tech Savvy Ray has reaction from the LGBT and transgender communities.
This is the worst anti-trans law the nation has ever seen.
Matthew Newman's the LGBT Foundation of Kansas. He's a trans man trying to make a difference in his community.
And I have to drive over after this interview 30 miles to be able to get my new driver's license.
He and hundreds of transgender Kansans either got or will be getting this letter from the Kansas Department of Revenue requesting that they turn in their driver's licenses and get a new one identifying them with their biological sex at birth.
And we have people that are coming to us that are suicidal over this.
The Kansas Highway Patrol says that if you get pulled over and your driver's license is invalid for any reason, like it not being updated to match your biological sex, you will get a warning or a ticket, which can be a misdemeanor.
They just invalidated people's identification before an election.
In order to vote in the upcoming March 3rd election, you must bring a valid form of government photo ID, like a driver's license or a passport, although election officials say they will accept temporary paper driver's license as well.
This means transgender Wichitans only have a couple of business days to get a new ID so they can vote in the special election.
I had to jump through all these hoops to get my documents changed and be reflective of who I am, and then in an instant they can just take that away and still make me pay to get a new driver's license.
Spencer Dickinson, another trans man, says that it took him 2 years to get his legal documents to match who he really is. He says this legislation is frustrating and scary.
Kansas, Texas, and Florida are on the same list that says do not travel if you're trans.
The other part of this new law says that in government buildings, transgender people must use the bathroom of their sex at birth.
I'm worried about people being violent towards me for using the women's restroom looking the way that I do.
Dickinson says that he hopes that things turn around politically for the state of Kansas and LGBT rights so that he can stay in Kansas after graduating college. In West Wichita, Abby Ray, Kick News on your side.
I see absolutely nothing wrong with this law right here. Not at all. Okay? Look. This will cut down on situations like a video I did probably back a few months ago where at a LA Fitness, a woman walked into a women's restroom and found a trans man in there. Well, yeah, it was a man in one of the stalls pleasuring themselves. Okay, and that's just what it is. Now, here's the deal. If trans want to identify as themselves, with being the opposite sex of what they were born to be, In your own mind, that's what you want to do. Well, then help to it. But what you don't have the right to do is go into restrooms that are not assigned to your biological birth. Okay? And that's just all there. That has nothing to do with trans rights. You don't have the right just because you identify as a man and you are a woman and you going in a men's restroom. You don't have the right to do that. You don't. And I'm sure eventually this is coming to a city near you as well as it should. You see, because like I say, you go into the restroom that you are assigned to at birth. That's only fair. You don't have the right to do this. What do you look like being a man, but you identify as a woman and you going in the women's restroom where women and children are, but you a man? That's only fair. That's only right. You see, that you shouldn't have that ability or right to do that. You shouldn't. But what say you people? I like to hear your comments on it. Myself, well, you already know where I stand on it. The thing is this is only fair. They shouldn't be able to do that or whatever. That has nothing to do with your rights at all. You don't have the right to change the status quo just because you want to change who you are as the gender you were born. Okay? And that's just what it is. People, please remember to live your life as though we are being watched, simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.